but we just wanted to go ahead and get started. I know we're starting a couple of minutes late. So I start by introducing myself because I am obviously not Dr. Wright. My name is Reggie Ballard. I am Chief of Staff for the Little Rock School District, and I am here facilitating the conversation in Dr. Wright's stead. He is out of state at a conference, but we wanted to make sure that we still had the opportunity to have the community to speak and to talk about optimizing LRSD. So just starting off with LRSD's main mission, and that is that all children deserve an extraordinary, equitable learning experience and outcomes, and we are responsible for making that happen. And so everything that we're doing is centered around this situation, and how can we make sure that we're doing everything that we can to provide for our students. And so in order for us to fulfill that mission, LRSD has a number of critical decisions that we have to make. And that's why we're inviting the community to help us create ideas and to come up with some resolutions and solutions for those incidents. So this is just our quick overview of our agenda. Just went over kind of quickly our welcome to try to get us back on time. I'm going to go over the overview of some of the issues that we have, as well as talk about why we're in this situation and what we're thinking to come out of the optimizing LRSD conversation. So this is talking about our fiscal situation. So for fiscal year 25, if all revenue stays the same and enrollment doesn't take a significant decrease, we're projecting the need to cut a minimum of $7 to $9 million from our general operating expenses, along with an additional $6.5 million for new debt services payments. And so we're projecting, just to be kind of on the safe side, to have a cut around 15 to 16 million. We're projecting that 80 to 90% of the projections will come from personnel cuts. 10 to 20 is projected to come from programmatic cuts. But just wanted to reiterate this, and Dr. Wright has said this several times, that all options are on the table, and so all areas of operations are going to be considered. So what are some of the contributing factors? Because those are some pretty big numbers to have to make a cut, and it's going to be some really hard decisions that are going to need to be made. So declining enrollment is one of the number one issues that we've experienced. It's been over 500 students in fiscal year 23, and over 180 students for fiscal year 24. Additional school support staff for priority schools, and I won't go over each one of these, but we've had a series of events that have kind of led to us projecting these numbers. So the dilemma number one, LRSD currently operates 2 small high schools, and we are currently on track and scheduled to be building a brand new high school to open the fall 2026. Here, the current enrollments are 2 small high schools. It's Hall Steam High School with a total enrollment of 305, and Little Rock West High School with a total enrollment of 270. We do have it broken out by race on that breakout. So the current operating costs for Hall in Little Rock West School of Innovation, for School of Innovation, Little Rock West is $4.2 million annually, and for Hall it's $5.2 million annually. This is excluding any type of maintenance or any other type of operational costs that we experience just to keep the school up, operating, and going. I do want to pause. Let me go back. Just want to pause because I know I'm quickly kind of going over these beginning slides, but I do want to pause for any type of comments, questions before we get into our breakout. Yes, sir.
I know we see the estimated decline in regards to revenue. are there any projects or anything in place to gain revenue?
That's something that we're wanting to do, to look at ideas for optimizing revenue, whether that's renting a building, whether that's a program, or whether that's looking at conglomerate of grants. We're really looking at all options on the table right now. I know I've been looking at all types of grants and all types of partnerships to try to shore up some of the operational pieces with the school district. And so we're definitely open to all and considering all scenarios to help out with our financial situation. And that's why we're here, because we don't want to just come up with ideas or come up with something directly from central administration or from the district. We want the community to be a part of coming up with ideas to optimize LRSD when we're looking at making these decisions. And so we opened up on our website for different ideas and programs, services to be created, generating ideas through our community. And that's what we're doing here, is to kind of look at some of those proposals that were deemed feasible and to get input. And we're actually going to have a moment at the end of our time together where everyone here will be able to kind of vote on the recommendations that come out of these focus groups. So these are some things that we ask stakeholders to consider in making their recommendations. We included a lot of data. We had our demographer report. We've also had enrollment trends over the years, our building capacities, and our current facility needs, as well as some type of financial content. That's all located on the lrsd.org website. For anyone who was coming up with these proposals, all of that information was readily available, and it's still readily available for anyone who wants to look at that information and to look at the data in Little Rock School District. And so we opened it up online. We had a 2-week time period where it closed on Friday, November the 3rd. We received 91 proposals. The 91 proposals submitted were categorized then into the following subcategories. And tonight we've broken it down even further, where we've kind of put them down and boiled them down into 3 categories to kind of be able to have people have a little bit more narrow scope and to sharpen the discussion inside of our breakouts. Now, even though we had the deadline of Friday, November 3rd, I do want to point out that we're wanting people to have multiple opportunities to submit proposals. And so what we've done with all of our Optimizing LRSD sessions is to have one of our district laptops be available for people who maybe did not have the opportunity or did not have the means to do so during that time period, because we do want to collect these ideas. And we're even looking up and considering new recommendations as time goes on through doing all of these optimizing sessions with the community. And so at the end of tonight, we'll have a time period that'll be open for new ideas that maybe are generated through the conversation of looking at the proposals that we have for you, or new ideas that maybe you have generated from either meeting with your neighborhood association or talking to parents, teachers, and students. So today's sole focus is really to look at how can we optimize Little Rock School District, knowing that we have this financial dilemma, knowing that we have a facilities dilemma, and wanting to be as transparent as possible to include all of that information for all of our stakeholders in our community so that they're fully aware of where we are right now and how we got to the situation to help us come up with some ideas around optimizing Little Rock School District. So these are some of the ideas that we kind of use when we're narrowing the scope to come up with the recommendations or to come up with the proposals that you're going to be reviewing tonight. So we had a total of 22 that were in the building optimization proposals that we're going to be having you go over tonight. They're going to be broken down into 3 categories. The number of high schools in Little Rock School District, repurposing buildings is our second group. And then we have a combination of pre-K to 12th grade ideas that we felt were feasible, and we wanted the community to look at them and to evaluate them and to give us recommendations and feedback. And so when you're broken out into these three groups, looking at these three different subject areas, these are the roles that we're wanting people to take. We're wanting to have someone who is a note taker in each of these groups to just write down on the chart paper that is located on the tables. We want a reporter who's going to report out then to the larger group at the end of our focus group timing session. And then also we're going to need a timekeeper. And we'll also be keeping time as you guys are working together to kind of keep us along and keep us on track for tonight's optimizing session. And what at the end of it, we want to have you guys review the proposals, and then the reporter is going to report out to the larger group. We'll have time for open discussion, and we'll be considering all ideas from that reporter from each group, so we can have an open discussion, and then we'll have a time period at the very end for any type of recommendations that are new that come out of tonight's discussions. So this is what is going to happen when you guys get done with your focus group. So you're going to have 5 minutes each for each group to report out. Then we'll have 5 minutes for a whole group voting process. And what we'll do is we'll give you little dots. And so we'll try to be, in our spirit is trying to be as transparent as possible. You guys will vote on those recommendations that are created by each focus group. We're also recording every session. I heard someone earlier say that they saw one of the previous sessions. We're recording all of these sessions so that people can see them at any time. We're also documenting and photographing, recording all of the recommendations that come out from the chart paper, so everyone has access to all the information, even if they're not able to make it out to one of these sessions. And this is just a list of other community sessions that we're going to be having. We have a couple of more throughout this week, including 2 virtual sessions that are going to happen on Wednesday. We're going to have one at noon, just in case anyone wants to chime in and join us virtually on their lunch break. And then we'll also have one in the evening. And we'll be ending our sessions, our live sessions, this Friday at Western Hills with the noon session as well. And so at this time, we're almost close to 6:20. Wanted to break us out into those 3 groups. And I'll go back, because it is self-selected. We're not going to push anyone into any one group. But I do want to just highlight that we have a group that's going to be discussing all of the feasible plans that we received around high schools. And so that's going to be its own group. And so this table, if you're interested in high schools only, you can join where Ms. Smith is currently located. Then we'll have another group for repurposing LRSD buildings, and that's going to be 3 proposals. And we'll be here at this table for repurposing buildings. And the last one is a combination of a multitude of proposals that range from pre-K all the way up to 12th grade. And that will be at this table. So if you're interested in a multitude of proposals that are pre-K through 12th grade, you'll be at this table. You're interested in repurposing buildings, facilities, you'll be at this table. And if you're interested in high school proposals, you'll be here at this table. High school is over here to the far left. Repurposing buildings and facilities is here. And then we have a multitude.
Oh, here's one. I brought from district, so I missed.
Yeah, I might not be able to say. So we have 3 submissions. Is that what I'm seeing? 4 submissions. 5 submissions, which is long. Okay.
Proposal Thanksgiving, best short-term choices to stabilize enrollment.
This is our understanding. That they were talking about blending from all the way up. Of course, we know that they're already technically on the same campus, but it would be
That's my problem. That J Fair is working K. Fair Forest Heights is a working K. Pulaski Heights is already functioning in many ways that way. And the only thing I'm talking about is how it's in the back center on the back of some of it's
But that's still, if that's the question, inside high school, like, we're not building, we'll have to go for challenge. You will have halls, and you will have parking.
Leadership team, Dr. Loring, Ms. Cooper, soon to be Dr. Cooper, Dr. Bradshaw, they're all now most like the letter down.
I'm completely agree with you.
So basically, you want us to just make some suggestions?
Yeah.
In the words of Dr. Michael, it's like, man, we didn't have much to choose from. And so this could give opportunity to build capacity of someone who, like I guess if it's Mr. Powell, that could really groom and help.
Parkview as a traditional magnet, and then 3 traditional high schools.
Which would be Southwest.
Southwest
Central.
and then New West High School. If they want found that. Except for the fact it's orange. Have you seen the building?
What's the last one?
I'm sorry, yeah. So you didn't
In about 60 seconds. So if you're a reporter in the group, go ahead and get ready to come out and share out to the larger group. All right. Reporters, come on up. We'll start with this group first. If I don't break this, you put your sticky up there and just kind of tell us what your group was thinking and what your recommendations are.
Okay, so our group recommended no changes to submission.
Which group was it?
Was the group that dealt with the recombination of the pre-K programs in high schools.
Okay.
And so we stated there with number 64, the biggest thing we were looking at is that we need more pre-K programs. And so our group said that we need a pre-K center in West Little Rock. So looking at a pre-K center being at Western Hills, because that population is declining. I didn't think about. Number 50 was, we said no submissions, no changes to number 50. And number 50, what did that deal with? Basically, it was all saying the same thing, having more pre-Ks because population. So we basically feel like we should have more pre-K centers in West Little Rock. You know, whether that be putting them at Western Hills or whatever, dealing with that population. Anything I missed, group? Y'all want to add to it? Yeah, we didn't have a chance to look at all of it. But that's what we came to the conclusion. Yeah.
There's down on the side.
Number 64. No changes. And then we said with number 50, no changes, because a lot of them, 64, 50, and number 65, were all in agreement with having more pre-K programs.
Awesome. Thank you.
3 and 4.
Some centers have infants and toddlers. I have 3 and 4 in my center.
They have infants and all.
Can you ask the question one more time? Sherry.
What was the question? Huh?
Yeah, why do they have to pay?
For the infants and toddlers? I'm not sure. I have 3 and 4-year-olds. My babies, families don't have to pay anything for my program. And I'm right here at Chicot. I'm on the other side. But the infants and toddlers, I'm not sure because I'm not a coordinator for them. But that's a good question. I'm not sure about if it's a sliding scale or what, but we could find that out.
But the pre-K do have to meet an income requirement.
Yeah, there's an application and there is an income requirement. But for the most part, I can speak for Chicot Early Childhood Center. And I'm 3 and 4-year-olds. Mine does not pay. Huh? What was the question?
What age? 3 and 4?
What age?
3 and 4.
Three and what age and what month?
You and I gonna have to get together. Yeah.
Got a short sister.
Yeah. It's before school starts.
We had three numbers that we considered submission numbers. Number one was combine the admin at Pulaski Heights, the two different Pulaski Heights Elementary and the Pulaski Heights Middle. Combine the admin team, so that just saves money, because they're so close to each other. They kind of act similar as far as the demographics and everything. So just coordinate that and just have a one admin team. Convert Hall as a reinvestment center for youth and adult. And I think this submission talked about how adult ed could be in there and kind of bringing back the youth or bringing back the adults that might need help with different services, whether it be literacy or, yes, GED, things like that. And then our last submission was 82, and that was utilize Henderson more. Since Henderson is centrally located, really use that to our maximum capability. Put child nutrition, a day treatment, student registration, sell the current downtown student registration building, and move that to Henderson, and then put the early childhood district early childhood there and security to sell Wilson. And from our understanding, Wilson is the current day treatment facility that, not day treatment facility, ALE, thank you. And since it's very outdated, that finding a different, more updated spot for those students, and sell the current registration building right now, and then sell the old IRC building. Apparently that the city or the neighborhood association or however would like to use that for housing development. So our group liked all those.
Which group is that?
The repurposing building group. Yeah.
Was the high school? Okay. So there were 4 proposals. Number 1, Hall should merge with Parkview. So Parkview will come to Hall, and there was a concern that we would lose Parkview families. Number 27, repurpose Hall and to add ALE and adult ed. Keep the 3 traditional high schools in one magnet. We like this idea because you can repurpose Hall and keep Parkview as a magnet. And then number 59 was 2 high schools, 4-day weeks. 4 day a week, I like that because I can work 4 days a week. But we're asking, would that be across the district or just at these schools? If that's a question that we had. And number 89 was to take Parkview to the west. We didn't. There are some cons to that. We thought that it would fill up with Parkview students. So what would happen when the seats are full, because Parkview has 1,048 students already? How are you going to attract new families to the West School if the seats are already going to be taken by Parkview? So the idea that we like the what tell that we liked.
Recommendation.
Oh, our recommendation is number 27. We thought that would have less movement than moving students.
Awesome. And thank you guys for the recommendations and for running these. I'm going to put all of these on this wall over here. Ms. Smith just put out 3 blue dots on your table. You're going to be able to vote. You're going to use those dots as a voting mechanism, and you can use all 3 for one idea if you want to, or you can use 3 for 3 different ideas if you want to. And what we'll do is we'll capture it. Like I said, we're recording this. We're going to record all the votes in. We'll also be putting it on our website as well. But I'm going to put these on the wall, and then we'll take a couple of minutes for you to go through, kind of look at the proposals, you've heard them, and discuss them, and then you'll be able to actually use your dots to vote on it.
Yeah, you know, we can see the signs.
Oh, wait, I don't know what the, oh, gosh. I don't know what they were. No changes. So we can vote
We can vote.
three times on one thing.
3 times on one thing if you want, or if you want to use all three for 3 different recommendations, you can.
Oh, you're fine.
Remove this deal. You want it up here? Okay, there you go.
There.
I did want to open it up for open discussion to come back together as a larger group. I know we had a lot of different proposals and everybody didn't get a chance to read it. Moment is an opportunity for any open discussion, any proposals that you heard when the reporters were going through. See,
Well, can you restate it again? I was
on the phone.
straight.
Yeah, this is just the opportunity. We didn't want to just have people broken out into groups and then not have an opportunity to speak to each other. And so we wanted to have open discussion and be a part of the session. And so this is the open discussion part. So we heard from all of our reporters, wanted to have an open floor discussion on any of the proposals, anything that you guys heard.
I think your question when you asked about that, more pre-K centers in West Little Rock, we were looking at Western Hill as that used to be considered West Little Rock. You know, so we were saying, hey, just west, some center, mid Little Rock area.
Yeah, and I think too, what Dr. Ross mentioned, that's the key piece. Stakeholders in that community or stakeholders across the district. You know, pre-K in Arkansas used to be number 2 in the country when Shane Broadway was in office. So I think that's something we should really look at.
Yeah, absolutely.
Families that are in West Little Rock that maybe don't have the private school money, that upper echelon of money, but you have like the middle class who would like more pre-K, who can't afford to do Baptist prep pre-K or, you know, wherever out there that could help.
That's a great point. Well, my daughter's an educator in the district. And so when my grandchildren got to the youngest got qualifying age for pre-K, that saves her so much money per month so that she didn't have to worry about buying those services. So that's really good.
But one of the things that I proposed, I did a submission, I don't think it's here, but having staff, employees, put their children wherever they want. Does that make sense? Because as a staff member, and my son is a junior at Parkview. I'm happy. Like he's gone through, but I know I hear other staff members say, you know, I would like to take my kid and put him in, you know, whatever, or put her in, you know, whatever. And so that would be a pre-K option in West Little Rock, might open for staff, you know, things like that, that could increase kids just from taking care of our staff.
That's right. I like that.
So we did have staff preference
We did.
in our district. We did have staff preference.
Yeah. And that only like that's, we get to keep our kids. Yeah, and that could go from cafeteria workers to, you know, I think that would just build, we want our kids where we were.
Yeah, kids followed me
Mm-hmm.
everywhere I went.
So staff preference. I read a new one. So staff preference.
It's not new. Put it in there.
You put it in there?
Yeah.
Okay.
It just,
Feasibility. Yeah.
Tell me about the, Pulaski High thing, they was talking about combining the administration.
Speaking up a little
So we can capture it on the
Yeah, explain about the, combining Pulaski High K through 8.
I'll let their repurposing buildings group and also proposal.
You know,
Talk
it's just an idea that we've got K-8s with one management team at J Fair, Forest Heights. We've got these two schools right next to each other. They're already interacting with one another. Could we reduce management cost by having one principal and a couple of assistants there, instead of having two principals that are costing us a fortune, right? So in terms of what's my motivating force when I wrote this down was about equity, that we have the premier, Heights neighborhood that's getting two principals while our neighborhoods on the south and southwest part of the city are not getting those same privileges. So it's a lot to me about equity. If we're going to share the sufferings, south of 630 has always shared the sufferings of this city when we close things, when we make cuts. Let's share it across the west and the north part of our city too. One principal.
2 assistant in K through 5th, and then having 2 principals, 6 through 8? Are you talking about one principal and one?
One principal, like you have at Forest Heights and the or J Fair, where you have, people who are obviously running two different sections underneath that principal. Call them what you want. No.
Any other open discussion, feedback?
Did you mention about the other topics that will be part of the?
Strategic plan. I was going to do it close. So I'll go ahead and do it now. We get straight to the closing because I know we're right after 7:00 and we try to get it down to an hour. We will, before we do that, want to talk about our other sessions. I mentioned it earlier, but just wanted to make sure that everybody knows that we're going to be having multiple sessions throughout this week, and a couple of those are virtual. And so we'll be sending out that information and having it readily available. And so just wanted to promote this so that we can have as many people be a part of this process as possible. And a continuation of this process is going to be included in our strategic plan. I heard a couple of people say that they had submissions that were put into the RFQ rather, that we did for our online site, but we wanted to include kind of more pertinent, immediate, implemented recommendations in this process. For any of the recommendations and proposals that were deemed feasible or partially feasible, they're going to be included a part of our strategic planning process so that we have a little bit more time to have those discussions and to also get feedback both internally and externally on some of those pieces. We are just now starting our strategic planning process. Our strategic planning partner just presented to our board for the first time this past week, and we're going to be having the formation of subcommittees, and a lot of those are going to be grassroots motivated, and we really want community to be a part of the strategic planning process. So a lot of the proposals that we received that were either partially feasible or deemed feasible but not immediately implementable right now for this school year to kind of help us with some of the dilemmas that we talked about at the beginning, they're going to be included as a part of those working groups and those subcommittees with our strategic planning process. And we'll have information that will be going out about those subcommittees as we create that and we form it as we go along. But we're really looking forward to having a more robust grassroots type of strategic planning process. Our strategic planning process, just so that everybody knows, we're going to be going for 2 years through that process. And so it's not going to be a quick, here it is type of process. This is going to be a very thorough. We want it to be organic. We want it to be grassroots. And we want it to be thoughtful. And we want it to be equitable. And so we're going to be going through that process. And we just are at the beginning of phases, but you'll be hearing and seeing more about our grassroots efforts in the beginning of this upcoming calendar year when it comes to our strategic plan. Yes, ma'am.
Is this information already on the website?
This information here?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
and what about these proposals?
The proposals are also on the website.
Where?
We have a banner on top of the website. Ms. Smith, can show us right now in real time.
Here in the red banner section. Click on it.
What is it gonna say?
Proposals. Request for proposals 2023 submission.
Thank you.
Yeah. And I'm so happy one of the participants said that you can also go to our YouTube because we've been recording all of these sessions. And so you can go to our YouTube page and you can read and you can see all of the recommendations and proposals that have been voted on since we've been doing this process. Like I said at the beginning, wanted to be incredibly, as grassroots as possible and as transparent as possible. So as much information as we can capture, we're capturing it right now. This is going to be uploaded and put on the website and also on the YouTube page so that anyone who wasn't able to be here tonight can see what the discussion was. So I just want to thank you guys for coming out. We're just 10 after the hour. Wanted to pause though for any type of feedback in this process. We're always trying to create a more equitable process. And so if you guys have any feedback for us, we'll definitely take that. But if not, thank you guys so much for spending your Monday night with us tonight. And we look forward to seeing you again soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.